invited, you just got busy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the last time was on yours.
So we're super excited to come out here. I am a big fan of canine fitness training. A little bit about myself. I've been with boxers since I was 12 years old, which is a little over 20 years now. I started in Germany. You can probably hear it. I am originally from Germany. I've been in the States now for 7, almost 8 years. And I brought, dogs with me from Germany when I moved here. My original sport is IGP, or Schutzhund, is known as Schutzhund here in the United States, which is tracking, obedience, and protection work. And my very first boxer is Byron, which is why also my kennel name is of House Barion, and our business name is House Barion. Byron was a very fantastic working dog, but he did have hip dysplasia. And to me, that kind of sparked my interest in the canine anatomy and also canine fitness, because Byron was an extremely fit dog who did a high impact sport his whole life, and he never had issues with his hips. So I was like, why is that? Why do some dogs get it and others don't? And that kind of like sparked my interest in this. And then after moving to New Jersey, I got the opportunity to join the program for the canine fitness trainer in Tennessee. Unfortunately, during COVID, so it was a little bit longer than expected and more online than expected, but we did make it. And we learned a lot. And since 2021, we have House Barion. So that's just a little bit about me. Canine fitness is something that is extremely overlooked in the dog sport world, especially people who have sport dogs. And that can be something like IGP, but it can also be something like duck diving, fetch, because the dogs are running, obviously agility, obedience, any kind of dog sport, but also our pets at home that might just go out and play in the yard and run over a field and potentially step in little holes. Canine fitness applies to all of these dogs. So whether you have a canine athlete or you have a pet at home, a young dog or an old dog at home, it really doesn't matter. All of these dogs can benefit from canine fitness training. And this is just something that we are big in spreading the word about, because people simply don't know. They don't know what you can do, and they don't know what you can do to help your dogs have a better and more healthy life. Which one of you is active in dog sports?
You know that already.
Okay,
No,
so
that's not true. Jerry is too. She does field.
We do field work.
good, yes.
And no, and Pat does confirmation. That's not true. They're all silent.
There we go. Confirmation counts.
We play ball and swim.
There we go. That all counts.
My dog has double hip dysplasia,
Oh.
so I am limited.
Okay,
So
yes.
I really appreciate this.
Good, good. So now let me ask you, for our people here that do any kind of sport, including confirmation, who has a warm-up routine before you do something?
For the dog or for us?
I would say both, but since I'm just a fitness trainer for dogs, I'm gonna focus on the dogs now.
Yes, but inconsistent.
Okay, okay.
I'm not sure, because I give the dog to the handler and pay the bill.
Nice.
You get the exercise to shell out the money.
For me, something that I really, really clearly see a lot of the time is any sport, and I do a lot of sports with my dogs, I do everything with my dogs. People show up, and even if it's just nose work, where people are like, this is not so hard on their bodies. They show up, they take their dogs out of the car, they might go pee-pee, and then they jump right in, right? Let's be honest, we all do it. I sometimes do it too. But if you really think of it, you want your dog to perform on a high level. We have to give their bodies a chance to warm up too, right? Because it's not fair if we just expect them to come out of the car cold, even in summer, come out of the car cold, and then go and run agility. Or then go and do an obedience routine where they have to jump over a jump. It's not fair on their bodies. And this is really something that people never think about. And then injuries happen. And then, you're out for a while. And then you come back from an injury and you continue the same way as before, and then boom, you relapse and you have an injury again, or even a worse one. And you're getting into a downward cycle with your dog and you don't know how to get out of it. So today, I want to show you guys with Dominica a couple warm-up exercises and also canine fitness exercises, foundational exercises that you can do easily at home without having to buy any of the equipment. Because this is the other point that I always hear from people. I would do it, but I have to buy all of this stuff, and it's really expensive. Because you guys know, everything with dogs is 20,000 times more expensive than it is for humans, right? But I can tell you, you can do most of it, if not all of it, without buying any kind of equipment. It does help, you know, it does help. It makes things a little bit easier, but we can be creative. I have a lot of clients that train with me for canine fitness that are out of state. I have somebody from Texas. I have some people from Massachusetts, Indiana. They're from all over the place. They're doing online training with me, and they don't have all the equipment that I have in my little training building. So we're just starting to be creative at home. I'm looking around, you know, with the Zoom camera, they're walking around the house. I'm like, let me see what you got, you know. And then we're looking at chairs, we're looking at, you know, little step stools. We're looking, sometimes even decorations or a toolbox that we can utilize for canine fitness training. So don't be deterred by, you know, oh my God, I need to spend $50,000 on all of this equipment, because you really don't. But today the exercises I'm gonna show are gonna be foundational exercises that are good to do for warm-ups, that are good to do to get your dogs into canine fitness, and they will do something for your dog's overall health. When you're talking canine fitness, you're always talking about strength exercise to strengthen their bodies. You're talking about flexibility exercises to help with flexibility, with motion, range of motion, and you're talking about proprioception exercises, which is body awareness. Our dogs need to become body aware to really be functional in their little bodies. When we have dogs, and when our dogs are just standing like this, about 60% of the dog's weight is carried in the front, and only 40 is carried in the back. This is why we see so many injuries in the rear. Let it be Ilyasova's injuries, lower back injuries, or then the knees, right? Everybody fears about the knee, let's be honest. We're always worried about blowing out knees, having knee injuries, but that's why we see that so much, because these dogs carry so much weight in the front. Now, if you have a dog built like her, chest-heavy dogs, right? Of course, it's all golden, same thing. It's all in the front, right? So we have to make sure that our dogs learn that they actually have a back end, because they don't know. Because if you think of your dogs, they're walking, or like, let me start there. You're walking down the street, you're not thinking about what your legs are doing, right? You're not really thinking, I need to pick up my left foot, place it, pick up my right foot. Same thing goes for our dogs, but now they also don't even see their back legs. So they really have no idea that there is a hind end. And they need to learn that. And they're also, you know, your normal dog has no concept of left and right either. Canine fitness can teach them the difference between the left side, between the right side, and the dogs will learn. So when I look at a dog, when I evaluate a dog, I want to see the dog in a standing position, and I want to make sure, you know, how does their top line look? Is the top line appropriate for the breed? A boxer, a golden, should probably be fairly straight. You have dogs like a German Shepherd where it should be more sloping, or sometimes you think of like a pit bull mix. They always have a little bit roached and arched backs. That is appropriate for the breed, but I would know, oh, this is a boxer. A boxer shouldn't stand like this, right? A golden shouldn't stand like this. A golden shouldn't be arched and roached like that. I want to make sure that the feet are aligned with their body. So I want to make sure that my feet are, you know, aligned with their shoulders, aligned with their hips, similar to conformation, honestly, because when you stack a dog in conformation, you stack him like the proper way, and this is how we want to start in canine fitness too. Because if I send you guys now to the gym and say, go do some curls, and you go there and you sit like this, and you do this, you can do more harm than good to your body, right? You want to make sure you have proper form, you're like straight, and we all slump over, I do that too, but you really want to be aware of this. Same thing goes for our dogs. We want to make sure they are in a proper form before we even start doing any kind of exercise, to not potentially injuring them while we're doing exercises. She is just a little monkey. She likes to show up. So now when we have this, so when I'm with this dog at a trial, I like to set her up. I like to have her stand in front of me, and to warm up along her spine, all the muscle groups along her spine, we're doing some simple, and you guys have maybe seen that before, cookie stretches. The nose goes towards the hip. We're holding it a couple seconds. Back to the front. The nose goes to the last rib. Hold a couple seconds. Back to the front. And then this is a hard one for her. The nose goes, can you not step on there? Thank you.
Do you do it both sides?
Yes, ma'am. Both sides. To the shoulder, back to the front. After I do this, I turn my dog around, and then we do it on the other side, because yes, we have to work both sides of the body the same way. So I'm having nose to the hip, back to the front, nose to the last rib, back to the front, and we're doing the nose to the shoulder, and back to the front. All of this is done with cookies in my hand. There's no manual force, there's no negative reinforcement for this, because I want the dog to do this on the dog's own terms. Now, this is simple. You guys can all do this, right? You just need a cookie for it. But when you start doing this, I want you to start taking note, what is your dog's range of motion? She could touch every single position, right? There are dogs out there that can't reach though, and that's not a bad thing. So I don't want you guys to go home and try and be like, damn, my dog can't do it like Dominica did. She can't touch. That's okay, because just like us humans, everybody has a little bit different range of motion. And I always like to show something that Benny hates when I do this, but I can do this, no problem, right? And some people cannot, and that's normal.
I can still do it. Sort
See?
of.
So even here, some can do it, some cannot do it, and that's a normal thing. But when you are trying to do this and get your thumb there, you probably feel the point where it stops, if it does stop. That's your natural range of motion. And some people have a greater than others, and that's totally normal. Same for the dogs. Now, if you start doing cookie stretches with your dogs, you might see, with more repetition, there will be improvement. You will also see in the beginning, your dogs might be like, what the hell is this?
It's a free meal.
Exactly. When we stretch, we know why we stretch, right? It doesn't always feel good, but we know why we stretch. The dogs don't understand that concept. The dogs might be like, this feels a little funny. This maybe even hurt a little bit, so why would I do this, right? So we just want to make sure we like ease our way into this for the dogs so they understand what we actually ask of them.
How many times do you do it?
When I warm her up for this, I hold each position about 5 seconds, and I repeat up to 5 times in a row, especially when I'm waiting for my agility turn, for example. I do that too to keep her focus on me. So I do little things like that to keep that focus on me, keep her engaged with me too, and then also keep the spine warmed up. Because that really stretches the whole spine from literally all the way behind the ears, all the way down here. We're warming up the muscle groups along the spine, which is a nice thing to do for sport dogs, but also when you're going out and you know you're gonna let your dog run or you play ball, it's a good thing to do. Another thing that I look at when I evaluate dogs is I'm looking at their, okay, let me take this out of the way. I'm looking at their sit position. When a dog sits, I want to make sure that the dog's knees are pointing towards me. That the dog is sitting in a square sit and not like this. Turning the toes out. Yep. Or rolling on the hip.
I was
Yep.
gonna say a lot of goldies tend to roll on it.
And that is they're taking off strain of their lower back. And they're being lazy, right? A lot of times we're lazy. Or you might see it with a double hip dysplasia. I'm assuming your dog probably rolls, because some dogs, it can be a sign of discomfort too when they're rolling. Not always, so I don't want you to be like, oh my God, my dog's rolling on the hip. There's gotta be something wrong. It can just be laziness.
Or a sign of exhaustion.
Sign of exhaustion too, absolutely. But I look at this, I look, how do they sit? Do they shift the weight in any way? You know, do they shift weight off? Do they sit wide? Do the toes point forward? Do the toes point out? That's what I want you guys to look at home too, because it will tell you something about your dog's body. And it will tell you something about potential weaknesses in your dog's body. If your dog's sitting like this, or sometimes you might have seen it usually in puppies, they sit and they just start sliding, they can't hold that sit. That is lack of core strength. That is lack of strength that they just cannot hold that position for a longer period of time. And the next thing we want to look at is how do our dogs lay down? And then it's the same rule for that. We want to make sure that the hips are nice and tight, the toes are pointing forward, the knees are pointing forward. Now, when we're having the dogs in a down position, down. I'm also looking at the pelvis. Right now, I'm making her over-rotate her pelvis If you guys look at her knees, they're pointing straight up. This is a lazy position. I want her to have a nice flat back, and the knees are now pointing forward. You guys see the difference in this?
That's, for my puppy, that's very hard right now.
Now, my dog generally prefers to frog. He's 7, he's never grown out of it.
So like just
Yep.
Yeah, I've got one too.
Flat out.
when you have dogs that go naturally straight, and this older dogs especially that have learned that, breaking a learned behavior is hard. What I then sometimes do is I throw out a piece of equipment, something low, this could be, you know, a low board even at home that you can use. And I'm gonna have them target their back feet on it and their front feet on the ground. And I'm going to ask them to lay down. That
Okay.
little bit of a change sometimes does a trick, because now they're thinking way more about what they're actually doing, and they're way more aware of their hind end. But also, when we down our dogs, we shift weight to the rear, which we know now naturally is a little bit weaker. If I'm elevating the hind end, I'm taking away of that weight because I'm shifting more weight to the front if I'm elevating the hind end. So that is something, you know, that you could try out. So what if I'm having him target something and then do a down and to a stand? But that is a good point. Some dogs do tend to do that.
It's always, he's always done it. Always done it.
You probably also would have to do fast rewards and not expect him to hold that down for long. You kind of want to, like, the second you get him to lay down and he's doing good, yes, boom, down. In the beginning, just so that, you know, he starts to rethink how he lays down. But I think a target would help you.
Okay.
Yeah, any kind of low target, can be a board, can be Cato boards, field. People usually sometimes use Cato boards too for field work, something like that. You guys can use. This is a climb. You know, I would say like this height would be great too.
I was gonna say, if you have like one step going
The
from
stepper.
one room to another.
Yeah, you would have to see maybe like a full step might be a little too high in the beginning,
I was thinking about this, something in the living room, kinda.
like a lower step. Yeah, something low, something
Like a
nice.
step.
But I think that, you know, that would be something good to do for a dog that lays down like this.
I
But then
think
we
that's
would
about
also
4
find learned
inches.
behaviors.
I think that climb's about 4 inches tall.
Yeah.
And the climb sit about 3. So not too high, but enough to get the rear end up.
Okay, so a good strength exercise where you don't need any equipment, if your dog does down without any problem, come here please, you don't need equipment, I just said it, would be very simple. We're starting in a standing position, we're making our dogs down, making sure we have the good down position with a flat back, knees pointing forward, and stand, sit, stand, or we can play around, down, sit, stand, sit, down, stand. You
She's
can play
really
around.
thrusting from behind though. I mean, that's good strength. I
Yeah.
mean,
That's
Yeah.
why she's the demon. From the
But-
time she was a baby, the time
I
she was
mean,
a baby, she
again,
was
my,
crazy.
the puppy's not doing that. Believe it or not, the 9.5-year-old can do that, but that's,
I was
Wow.
gonna say,
she's impressive.
also, and I think it's a breed difference, to be honest with you.
You know,
Goldens generally do not lay down or square like what.
yes, they do. Yes, they
They
do.
just,
Do they?
Yes, they do. I'll disagree.
So
well,
generally, yes, we do sometimes fight a little bit, you know, breeds and their natural also demeanors. You know, you have a boxer, they're like, bam, 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 let's go. Then you have some breeds that are way more laid back. In general, you can get any dog to lay down in a square position, right? It is, like I said, sometimes you find
well, you
learned
can get them,
behaviors.
but.
With this
on
dog
natural.
especially, I mean, she's been doing this since she was a little baby, right? Like
Right.
from the start, I really focused with her on the proper position. So it is a little bit different than starting with a 5, 6, 7-year-old dog, right? But it is definitely doable. But playing around with sit, stand, down, stand, sit, down, stand, any kind of constellation is a really, really good exercise for your dogs. It's a nice strength exercise for your dog. Something easy you guys can do. most dogs know sit down and stand, especially if you have conformation dogs, they know how to stand. So you can play around with these exercises.
So Lisa, could you just show maybe in slow motion how to do what I would call the Sphinx lay down? Which
sure.
is, so, cause she's very good and she's very slow. I mean, she's very fast, I'm sorry. So, to make her not do a sloppy down.
Yeah.
So
I
how-
start in a
have
standing
to shape
position,
that.
especially when your dog doesn't know it yet. I want them to shift the weight to the back and fold into
Oh.
a down position.
You little stinker.
So when we have them standing, and I teach the dogs this, I start natural standing position, my treat hand is in front of the dog's nose, and I give a little bit of body pressure by leaning into the dog
There, yeah.
to get a weight shift to the rear. The difference to a normal stand would be going straight down or going into a sit and then into a down. We want her to shift weight to the rear into a down position. She's slipping a little bit on the carpet, so she's trying to like bring her legs back under, so that you guys obtain a down like this, where the knees are pointing forward, the back is flat, and from that down position, they should stand up again. You stand? Good girl. The goal for this is that they don't move their feet or keep their feet as stationary as possible, so that they're really engaging their core down. Really engaging their core when they're laying down, stand. Good girl. And engaging their core when they're standing back up. You down? I know.
And it might
When
be
you're
worth-
doing it at home, try to find a ground that is not slippery for them. If you find like a yoga mat or something where they don't slide on, the better. If you have a dog, like her, who's trying to do this really fast, they will slip on carpet too. But carpet obviously is better than just tile, right? So this is already really,
Yeah,
really
my
good.
wood floor, that's when he slips, when he's just
Right.
sitting, because
Yeah.
it's
Right.
just.
Right. It's
Oh.
hard for him.
And it might be worth noting that most times when we teach the sit, we bring the head up and the booty comes down, or the butt comes towards the front.
Mm-hmm.
So just the mechanics of them going into a sit is different with her because she's done it from a young age.
Right.
Yes. So she, in general, she will only offer me the fold downs, because this is just what she has learned. She will not roll on her hip really when we're working. When she like goes and lays down on her own, she will go and get comfortable, right? But if we're in work mode or she's somewhere, she usually doesn't roll on the hip. But yeah, so sit down, stand, sit, stand, play around with that. Those are really, really good exercises to do. Another big part that I would like to talk to you guys about is the different versions of a sit. When you guys teach sit, most people go up with the hand, right, treat, they're shifting the weight to the back actually. It's called a rock back sit. So when we're teaching young puppies, to sit, we should do something like this, right? Like push on the booty sometimes, get them to sit, and then we're like, yay, good job. This is what we call in fitness a rock back sit, because if you look at her from the side view, she is moving all her weight to the rear, rocking back into a sitting position. And then if I make her stand up out of this position, she's pushing up back into a stand. So she's engaging her hind end for this one, which is a really good thing. There's a other way of sitting, which is called a tuck-in sit. Let me move it. A tuck-in sit is the opposite of your rock back sit. Did you just do it?
Yeah.
Yes, she did. She's not
For
gonna.
the tuck-in sit, now we want the front to stay stationary and we want the hind end to move towards the front. So now we're engaging shoulder and core for that exercise. So a tuck-in sit looks like this. Good girl. She's bringing now her hind end to the front. And then when I have her stand up, her hind end moves away from the front. Back. Good girl. Okay, back. Good.
So just a little slower, can you show that sit again?
The tuck-in sit?
No, I know, hey, look, I got 3 ages, I got a 9-year-old, I got a 4-year-old, and I got the 10-month-old.
Oh, geez.
So the tuck-in sit, in the beginning when I teach it, my treat hand is in front of the dog's nose, and I have body pressure on them because I don't want them to get onto. I teach it with a target too, because it makes it easier.
Okay.
I have body pressure on him, like I'm hovering over my dog right now to not have her come up on here. If I want her to come onto the board, I remove my body pressure and I will bring my treat hand towards my chest.
Okay.
That is the cue for her to
Gotcha,
come
okay.
tucking in. So when I now step back, I'm trying to do it nice and slow. You tap,
Oh, okay.
and she hops onto this board.
I was gonna say, the board actually helps.
Helps.
because-
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because she has a very clear target. This is where I'm gonna have
Right.
to sit. Now also, we elevate the front. So now we're shifting a little bit of weight to the rear when we have her standing like this. So we're still engaging our hind end too, which is always important. But like I said, for this kind of sit, now we're working the front and the core
Ooh.
to have her come up like this.
It's like a bunny rabbit.
She loves this one. A lot of the dogs love this exercise. It might look hard, but it's gonna be very easy to teach for you guys, because it's fun for them. And if your dog ends up coming onto the board like this, that is fine too. Step, step, and then sit, that is completely fine. They don't have to do this, bam, hop, sit. Right? Like this is just how she does it because she's a little crazy. But it is totally fine if they come slower onto this board and then sit. So I don't want you guys to think you're doing something wrong if your dog isn't as fast. Come here, baby. Good girl. So these two different ways of sitting work two separate muscle groups.
Is that the freeze-dried liver?
Yes.
That's what I.
Yes, we had to bring out the good stuff.
The whole bucket?
I call it bucket o' treats.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, have you ever had
Lowe's on
diarrhea from
73
it?
has tons of them, tons of it,
Really?
at the paint store, at the paint station. Oh, yes.
Who has it?
Lowe's.
Lowe's. You're gonna work your
I
dog
didn't know
there.
that.
Oh, really? Wow.
So
Paint station, the
when
paint.
you guys
I didn't know
work
that.
these two muscle groups at home, plus your down stand exercise, you're already getting a full body strength exercise with that. You're working all the muscle groups that we want to work on. There's other fun stuff that I can show you guys too. I can show you guys push-ups and planks and all of that, but that's a little bit more experience. I want to show you guys a balance exercise for the dogs too, which is always nice to see, and conformation dogs will be good at this. Can you get off of this board? Maybe.
I'm addicted.
Maybe.
Addicted.
If I'm on the board, I get a treat.
Sometimes conformation dogs learn to stack on stacking boxes or blocks, and this is similar to this. So when we have canine fitness equipment, it's gonna be always a little bit wobbly for our dogs. Having something wobbly versus something sturdy is gonna make the dog engage all the stabilization muscles in their little paws, up the carpus, up the elbow, up the shoulder, or in the back, up the tarsus, up the knee, up the hip, so that they're feeling it. Because if you guys have ever done any sort of rehab or physical therapy and you had to stand on something wobbly, while it looks so easy, it really isn't, right? Because we are feeling this and everything is shaking. And the same thing happens to our dogs when they stand on these things. Canine fitness equipment will always have these little knobs, and you guys can look at it too. This is for their proprioception, for their body awareness, so they really feel where they're stepping at. Doing balance exercises can be all four paws on equipment for more experienced dogs or dogs that have done conformation, that know how to do that. Or when you first start with it, you will start by just bringing either just the front, get that, get your back, there we go. Just the front on it, or we're gonna bring just the back on it and have the dogs stand. After they're getting used to that, we can get our dogs to do some position changes, say down, I know, can you do it? Down, thank you. Position changes, we can have her sit on it, good girl, just so that she's comfortable with it and gets used to it. Same thing when we have just the front on it, we can make them sit, stand, down, stand, and play around with the same kind of exercises that we have done on the floor. So that would be like a little step up from our floor exercises. Standing on here with all four paws is gonna engage her core. And I can play around with how far I have them apart too, right? The further apart I do this, the more I'm gonna have her go into hip flexor stretch into a plank position. And I think I can show you guys with her. Let's see if you still got this. You still got this one in you? let me set it up for you. So, for her, it's one of our favorite exercises that we do with our dogs, is a plank. If you look at our logo on our jackets, that's actually her mom doing a plank with a hip flexor stretch and a push-up. It always sounds funny and interesting, but the dogs pretty much can do all the same exercises that humans technically can do too. I cannot do a plank, I've tried it. I die after 30 seconds. And I can also not do a push-up. So I'm not good at it, but my dogs are. Good girl. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna stretch her out. Have her go into a nice stretch forward. This is gonna stretch her back. And it's gonna stretch that hip flexor. It's gonna engage a lot of core muscle now, a lot of core strength to stretch out like this. But because because she's standing on something wobbly in the front, we are also working all the muscles up her arms into her shoulders. Let me set this sideways so you guys can see a little bit better. You helping? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's under the.
I got this.
So you can see how she's leaning in, opening up her hips, and holding the position for a couple seconds. And then I can make her lean back again to get, a little bit of relief. Now I can also get her to lean forward and into a push-up.
Wow.
So now we're working core, stretching the hip flexors, and we're working those shoulders. Good girl.
Would that hurt my dog with double hips?
No, but your dog will not be able to open up as far as she will.
That's a good question.
That's a very good question. With a dog that has double hip dysplasia, you would start with like 2 targets fairly close together to just stand like that first. And then we would slowly open up little by little. But a dog with double hip dysplasia probably has a little bit more limited range of motion when it comes to that. But yes, it is something that you could do, but you would have to work your way up to this exercise. This is a very, very advanced exercise for dogs. It looks easy, but it is very hard on them because they have to be very strong, not just the core, but everything
It
else.
reminds me of when a dog wants to see something, but they think it might be a little sketchy.
Right.
Just kind
Yeah.
of stretch
Right?
it.
Yeah. Then they can do it. Yeah.
So a variation of that, because I see Tim and Lauren, would be the kind of stretch that they do from a stair. It's
Yes.
a little bit milder, maybe, where you
Yes.
have their front on like a stair and you do that. It's a lot milder without the equipment. Would that be something that would be good for an older dog or for someone with dysplasia?
Sure, but you do have to keep in mind though, if you have your dog, let's say these are the stairs, right? And you have your dog like step up on a stair and then to stretch up, like this is what you mean, right? This would be a little bit
Right,
higher.
yeah, right.
Yep. You're shifting a lot of weight to the rear. A dog
Okay.
with hip dysplasia is gonna be not as strong in the rear to keep all the body weight for
Okay.
long on that.
My vet told me to feed him on a step like that.
Because you shift the weight to the rear and the dog is not thinking too much about it because it's a way tricking him a little bit. But yes, those are good exercises to do, depending on how severe it is. I would need to see x-rays to give you like better ideas of, appropriate exercises for him. But yes, so this is similar, just a little bit different though, because we're shifting so much weight to the rear. Versus
Okay.
when we have them like this, we're really doing
Gotcha,
core
okay.
more. Yeah.
All right.
The step is
Lisa?
half the height.
I have a friend who was using a hand work, and they had the dog
No, you're fine.
learning exercises. Don't creep in, you're spooking the dog. They were using the human exercise ball, the big ball, to strengthen the central core. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, so we use what they're called peanuts that we use, big
Okay.
exercise peanuts, where you can have the dog stand on it, can the dog do similar exercises to this on it. For 3-4 levels up from beginner level is when you start using equipment like that.
Okay, I mean, she asked me if I never heard of it, and I said, no. But,
Yeah,
know.
you can do a lot, but there's a lot of different equipment. To me, the big balls, maybe you've seen the donuts, the peanuts. Tara, you have seen them on our, like the big, the rack in the back of the barn, all the equipment in there. Those, and you've seen the donuts. Tess went over the donuts when we have the equipment out. Those are more for experienced dogs. Because the dogs first, they have to learn these basic foundations on the flat. And then we work our way to the simple exercise equipment like this, that's a little bit wobbly, but not crazy. Then we work our way up and up and up more. When I use the peanuts, they're great, and a lot of people always want to jump to something big like this because it looks good. It looks fancy, it looks really cool.
And I'm afraid to do it.
And you should be, because you can do a lot of stuff wrong with that, right? Because if your dog is on there and jumps off in a weird way, your dog can hurt itself. So I think, before jumping to that, it is good to have some guidance from a professional or a more experienced person who has done it before you jump into these more dangerous exercise equipments and have your dog, do fun little circus tricks on there. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you guys can't do with it. But yeah, it is one of my favorite exercises. I make a lot of my people do this. When people come to me for fitness circuits, we do this exercise because it is such a good one for the dog to open this up in a controlled manner. Also, as you can see, she's very aware of her back feet, right? I can get, come off. You do back feet? Come here. I know, no cheating, do back feet. Where's your back feet? Good. She knows what her hind end is doing. Canine fitness training does that to your dogs. They start to learn, oh, I can step with my feet, they're thinking about their hind end. And this helps to prevent injuries, believe it or not. Because the more they're aware of what this hind end is doing, the more they're gonna be able to catch themselves if they step into a hole or if they slip and slide. Or if another dog runs into them and plows through them, right? They're just stronger. It creates
I was
stronger
gonna say,
legs.
you can see how well muscled she is in the rear end and comparison to 90% of the dogs that you see in the
Yes.
show ring.
Absolutely. You're having fun. And then in last exercise I want to show you guys with her. Hold on. I know you're getting full blown workout today, girlfriend.
She needs a
This-
day off tomorrow. Always a
This-
rest day.
This is a feeding bowl from Tractor Supply. We have all big dogs, so I would recommend if you get one, get two. Because if you only have one, sometimes the bigger, heavier dogs, they will bend them and they will just like cave in under them. But this would be the exercise equipment that I would recommend to you guys to get right away, because it's cheap. It's like $10. It's so cheap. It is so accessible, and we can do so many things with that. Come here, right here. Can you go on here, please? One big one that I do right away with puppies is the good old pivoting. I want my dogs to learn to pivot in both directions around the bowl, because it will help. This helps with obedience, right? With my obedience turns. If anybody here does rally or obedience and you have to do like nice tight turns, your dog needs to learn to stay in heel position next to you. This is where this helps. But it also helps with the body awareness. It helps the dog to learn, all right, I have back feet and I have to step around something. When I have new dogs do a pivoting exercise, a lot of times what I see, the front feet are on there and they start to pivot and all of a sudden they go like this. They cross over. That shows me the dog doesn't understand which leg is where and where that leg is, what that leg is supposed to do. With more practice, they get better and better at it. And if you watch her pivot, come here, can you pivot? She does nice big steps, opening up her hips to the side and stepping
So
wide.
you don't want them to cross over.
I don't want them to cross over.
Okay.
Does that teach them left and right too?
Yes, correct. You can have the dogs, do your sit and stand exercises while the front feet are elevated, so we are engaging our rear a little bit more now. We can, I don't know if she can still do it. We can make her sit on the
Yay.
bowl. So now we have a really nice and tight sit. So there's a lot we can do with a little bowl like this, and it's not gonna cost you a lot of money.
One more time.
Yeah, show how you would shape it. 'cause she's such an expert.
To shape the sit,
No, the pivot.
the pivot. So I do, for this one, what I would shape is just the front feet, detaching the front feet. So when I free shape something, I have nothing, I have my treats in my hand, and I'm just gonna walk over and I look at it. And that's all the input my dog is gonna get from me. And the second this happens, yes, good job. The pivot itself, I don't shape, I use body pressure for that.
Okay.
So when I teach the pivot, I have my treat hand in my hand. Depending on if your dog is good with pressure, I might even have a leash. I have the treat right in front of the dog's nose. And I'm gonna turn the dog's head to my own butt, because then the dog's butt is moving the opposite direction. So I'm turning and I'm stepping into my dog's hip. So sometimes in the beginning, we like have to push them a little bit out of the way for them to understand it.
Okay.
And of course, in the beginning, you would heavily reward. Sometimes one step, your dog takes one step, you're like, wow, good job. Then later on, you don't have to reward every single step anymore for them, right? Because they start to understand it, and you also don't have to put so much pressure on them anymore. I know, you're doing a good job.
It's been a good meal.
All of the treats. Now, the way I train canine fitness, I make it fun for the dogs. I do have a lot of treats involved in this, a lot of food involved in this. I recommend to my people always use a meal, right? So you're not giving 50,000 treats in one setting. You can use a meal for that, or you can take part of the meal, and then the big reward at the end is, here's your bowl, you're done. Thank you. So that way the dogs, don't actually put on weight while you guys are trying to do something good for their health. But again, this is fun stuff to do. You can do this inside. You don't need a lot of room for it. You can do this in your living room, right? You don't need a lot of equipment for it. We can find stuff in your house, or we can get, cheap stuff like this.
And Lisa does online sessions too.
We do online sessions. We do sessions at our barn.
Where are you located?
Down in Franklinville.
Okay.
It's only
about
30
45
minutes from us.
minutes.
It's not that far. Just came back from there.
So yeah, so we do a lot of stuff with that, and you guys can do a lot of stuff with that too. And the nice thing I think about canine fitness training is, once you learn the foundations, you don't need a trainer anymore, because then you have all the skills that you need to continue this yourself at home. And I think that's always a good thing too, because this is not something where I'm gonna be like, yeah, you're gonna have to be with me for the next 5 years to learn something. I'm gonna try to teach you as fast as I can, because I'm German, I want results. I'm trying to teach my people as fast as I can and as good as I can, so that it's working for their dog, working for them as handlers and owners, and the equipment they have, and that way I set them up to work and train at home on their own. So I have people that come to me every week. I have people that come to me once a month for a session to get new exercises, or once a quarter, and that is something completely fine,
It's
as
your
long as
ear.
you continue.
Your ear looks silly.
So you talked a little bit about the circuit classes, and can you just tell us a little bit more about
Sure.
that? What's that
Our
like?
canine fitness circuit classes are for people who have a foundation knowledge in canine fitness. And then every Saturday they come out, and it's like a human circuit when you go work out.
Haven't done it for years.
You have exercise stations, and we time.
And most of the time, I torture the ladies.
Yeah. They roll their eyes when Benny made
Military
it.
you.
When Benny's teaching, or when Benny did the
I know.
course, everybody walks in and is like, where's Lisa? No, we're having a lot of fun with this class, and it's always a full body workout with different exercise stations, so different exercises. And I always tell the people to take these exercises and do them at home, because that's how you get new exercises every week.
Is this for the people or dogs?
Dogs.
Both,
Okay.
both, because it's challenging for the people and the
Okay.
dogs have fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the dogs and the people do need a foundation knowledge of canine fitness before it would make a lot of sense to go into a class like this, because it is a little, it's timed, and there's a little bit of pressure on you as owners, because now there's a whole competition going. People write down the reps they got, and yeah, it's just fun. But once the dogs have a foundation for that, it's a great class to do, because you get a full body workout. Like, we have our people come every Saturday to us, and the dogs are nice and tired afterwards, which is always good too.
Yes.
You always want tired puppies. Yeah, and then
It doesn't get tired.
to get there, that's where we do the private sessions first. Private sessions in in canine fitness aren't long either. It's in half an hour, because it's a lot of work for your dog, right? And that is sometimes, where I'm like, people that want to come from further, they're driving longer than they're actually with me. But you have to think of your dog, right? And when you guys start practicing a little bit of what we've done tonight here at home, I also don't want you to go and do 50 sit stands in a row if you've never done those before. Because again, it looks easy, and our dogs more than likely will perform for us just because they love us and they want to work for us and we have a cookie, but it's not fair on their body. So be aware of that. Count your reps, count your sets. It's just like when you go to the gym. You're not gonna go to the gym today and do 100 sets of lifting heavy weights, right? We won't do that.
You don't start off at a 3-mile run.
Exactly. And the same thing, it goes for our dogs too. So that's just a very, very important thing. As long as you keep it safe, meaning no slippery ground, no big wobbly things yet, you're not gonna do much wrong when it comes to that. But I think, getting a little bit more aware of warming your dogs up before exercise, before field work, before agility, it's gonna help, and it's gonna have you have a healthier dog, a stronger dog, and then a dog that has a longer, healthy life too, right? Any questions?
What kind of treats do you use?
With ours, we use everything, honestly. Tonight we brought the freeze-dried liver. I can use kibble with her too. It doesn't matter. She works for a lot. I have dogs
Cheese?
though. Cheese, yeah, we are big fans of string cheese. We have a puppy right now. And with that puppy, I work with string cheese because it's easy to break, and then also for a puppy, easy to swallow, right?
I think that tub's available at, PetSmart.
Online at Chewy.
That's mine.
Chewy, yep.
Glenda, that's available at PetSmart, I think.
Yeah.
I get it from Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. I think we get it from Amazon too, actually. Yeah, we always have some of these. Anything.
Or Lowe's.
Anything. Whatever your dog likes.
I can't believe Lowe's has it.
But
Yeah, that's great. Go
we
ahead.
also change up the treats.
For her, yes. So we use, she is actually on Adequan, the injectable, because she's doing so many sports. And then all of mine are, what are the chewables from Tim?
Desiquin?
Yes, thank you.
Desiquin.
Yes, Desiquin. And then green lip muscle powder.
Flex, I guess, if you like that one.
Yeah, I'm happy with the Desiquin, I have to say, yeah.
My dog doesn't like it.
Really?
Well, try Flex, that might be.
Our old
Movaflex?
one, we just started her on You Move, and
Yeah.
I'm really happy with that. She likes it, she likes to eat them, it's like little pills, she eats them just like that. I tried that pretty, she's on it for about a month now. I'm really happy, she's 9 years old.
And sometimes the powder
She's
on the
not,
food
wait,
is
she's
good,
not?
No, she's 3, our old one at home.
Oh my God.
Do you use the Desiquin Advanced? Or
Yes.
just
Yes, they advance.
And sometimes the powder on the food is good too.
So it helps just with
depending on what they
collagen,
like
it
to
helps
eat.
with just the joints,
Powder.
keeping
I
the
use
joints
Flex,
healthy.
you
Because
know,
everybody's
different
gonna
cheese.
have arthritis at one point, so it helps with that to prevent it to become early a
I use
problem.
Flex. I
Keep
use
the joints healthy a little bit longer.
Flex.
Especially if you're doing impact sports, I would say it is a good thing to do that.
Yeah.
That's why we started her in Adequan too, like
Yeah.
she's completely healthy, she doesn't have anything. For her doing agility and the way she is, like she's really rough with herself, the way she runs around, the way she sometimes falls. So I just wanted to do something to help keep her the way she is a little bit longer. Go ahead.
How often do you do the Adequan?
So I started her on a 6-week, twice a week for 6 weeks, and then it's gonna be every 6 months.
And what was it you said you used for the older dog? I didn't hear.
You Move. It's called You Move. It's YU and Move. And that one has, I think the one that she is on is You Move Plus. They have a couple different ones too. That one has a lot of the green lip muscle powder in it. And I have to say, that's what, you can have your dog. You can have your dog. That's what I am a big fan of, is green lip muscle powder. Even if you just get that, because it's all natural, you really know what you're putting in your dog. My Byron, even though he had hip dysplasia, he never had issues with that. He did have a flare-up of arthritis in his elbow when he was about 9 or 10 years old, and he was limping. He was, after rest, he would get up, he was limping, and then he would walk it out, then he would lay down again, and it would start over. And we did the green lip muscle powder with him back in Germany, when we were still in Germany, and that actually fixed the problem. So since then, I'm a big fan of that because
And
it
it's-
helped him to the point where he wasn't lipping anymore. There's a couple different brands out. I always look for where it's just green lip muscle powder.
Green lip,
Green lip, yeah.
how do you spell that?
Green and then LIPPED, green lipped muscle powder.
What about MYOS?
So I've tried mine on mice that's for muscle
Yeah,
and muscle health. I haven't seen a difference in my dogs.
I didn't either.
Yeah, so I stopped it because I was like, all right, I don't see anything really, like, not good, not bad, like nothing happened.
I do it around competition.
Mhm.
I do it pre-competition and post, and I don't use it constantly.
Mhm.
And one dog it works, the other
Right.
guy not so much.
Right. Yes, and that's the case sometimes with these like more holistic approaches too. Same with the green lip muscle. Like it might work for my dog, it might not work for the other dog. But yeah, the Maya's, I wasn't convinced of it. Yeah.
What do you feed them?
She is on Royal Canine. She has a little bit of skin issues sometimes with like allergies, environmental allergies. Ever since I switched her to the Royal Canine boxer food, she's been really great. We were actually approached by Royal Canine to take part of a study they did because they came out with a new formula. So we did that, and I really liked what I saw because now her coat is shiny and she doesn't have any issues anymore. So I just kept her on it since then. And then our other ones are a mix of raw and Proplan. Purina Proplan large breed.
This is gonna sound like a stupid equipment question. I do have some buckets, but I have horses, of course I use to have the larger. So what is the size on that? I think I have like the puppy size. I don't think that's the size I have right now. What, is that in 10?
I believe it is a 10.
Yeah, it
At
looks like a
Tractor
goat.
Supply was the biggest rubber
No.
buckets they had.
No, there's one actually bigger than that, I think.
The
That
biggest
looks
one on
Like
the
a
shelf,
goat size.
right?
No,
So
goats are
not-
smaller.
Not on the
I'm
ground, but
just saying that's
on
what-
the shelf we were looking at, and we
Okay.
just kinda
that-
eyeballed what would
yeah.
work for our dogs.
I would say it's a 10.
I think I'll have to look again.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just stick with what I have for the horses.
I mean, I try it out too.
Because that can be too big too, you know, if it's too wide, it's too.
Depending on, yeah. I know there's like one size that's like about this much big.
That's the horse one,
Um,
yeah.
You can use that one too though.
And it's more of an oval shape, right?
No, it's round. It's round.
Okay.
It's ancient,
Okay,
by the way,
guys,
it's
any more
ancient.
questions?
No.
Okay. I wanna thank you so much.
You're
So
welcome,
much.
very good. Yay,
Thank
Thank you,
Awesome.
Pat Brown
Do you have
and
a
Tara
card?
Wilkinson Platt for bringing you guys to light so that we were able to have you guys come and we really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys. Thank you.
All right, good.
Guys, there's a whole bunch of goodies.
Yes.
All right, I guess
By
we
all
can-
means, help
We can kill
yourself.
this, right? And kill this.